Because I'm going to be moving in the first quarter of the year, it might affect our first playable build release, folks. I still hope to have a spring release for it, but I'm not going to put pressure on myself, because moving can be very time consuming and stressful. So chances are it could delay it by several weeks because of that. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's definitely on the cards. This and it about branching timelines and games of death. If you're helping with bills, not a third wheel at all. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a lot less stressful when you live with someone in this day and age, because things are hard, especially when you know just how things are. But things in time might get better. Never know, I might win the lottery. We were talking about that on the Discord, just might win the lottery. Well, good. But yes, I have got some snacks here right next to me in that stocking, so I might eat some if I get a bit peckish. I always complain about being hungry, so now I don't have to be, because I've got snacks. But I won't spoil my dinner though. Good, I don't spoil my dinner. Alright everybody, so first stream in a week, because I had the Christmas period off, and we're gonna get back into it with a fun one today. I thought of a really something I think's fun anyway. Other people might think it's super geeky, but I think it's gonna be fun. I've got an itchy eyebrow. I think I've got a dangly hair, that's why, and it's like dangling over my eyebrow. So what's been on the cards lately is we've been doing a lot of the dialogue stuff. We've been improving the first 2 quests of the game, all the dialogue within them, they're all here. This is main quest 1, all of that there. And this is main quest 2, all of that here. And we're still in the process of perfecting it, because before we can move on to the next stage, which is the scene work, we want to make sure that's all as good as it can be. And it's took a bit of time, longer than I thought, because the perfecting never ends. But we know if we're going to have a good story and good characters, it's what's got to be done. And it's only main quest 1 and 2 at the moment, because that's all the content that's going to be in the first playable build. We'll slowly build extra on top of that over time. And the custom hero creator is something else I've been working on, mainly off stream, because it can be a little bit can require a bit of focus. That custom hero creator, and there's a bit of script work involved with that as well. So I'm tending to work on that off stream because of the complexity of it. Although I did have a custom hero stream recently, this month actually, earlier this month before Christmas. I showed off how I'm making it work, and that is on YouTube. So if anybody isn't following me on the YouTube, you might find that custom hero created stream in the last several most recent uploads, because what I've started to do recently, which I'm actually pretty happy with, I've started to give every single stream / YouTube video upload its own name, like a theme to the video that sums up something that we did on stream, and that way everything's titled and people will be able to catch up easily, because now and again I've had people come in and ask about the streams, and I've been like, oh yeah, it's one of the streams, but I always forget what stream was which, and this way, having a tiled stream, it keeps everything far more organised. So I'm going to do that from now on with all the videos. And hi Van, good morning. I'm here, not quite awake, but lurking and working. Oh, you are at work. I was wondering actually if you folks across the pond were back to work today. I know that Rex is, but I was wondering if all of you were, because Here in the UK, some people aren't and some people are not, and some aren't. My sister's not, but she's a teacher, so she gets the rest of the month off, the first part of January. And any plans for New Year's Eve? Not for me, just gonna be having probably, I might play some games with my family actually again. It probably won't be as lively as Christmas though, probably more of a chill one, quiet one, just because we're trying to be careful because of all that horrible COVID going on. So probably just a nice quiet one this New Year, not like last year where I travelled to the other side of the country. I was in the car for like 12 hours. This one's going to be the opposite of that. This one's going to be a quiet one. And hi Oracle, how are you doing? Hope you had a happy Christmas. Yeah, it was a fun one. Very full, very spoilt. Lots of drinks, lots of foods, lots of games, lots of good chats, lots of socialising. Did you though, Oracle? Hope you did as well. Only 3 days to the end of the year. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Who thinks that 2020's gone slow and who thinks it's gone fast? I feel like it's both. It was pretty crazy because I was looking back through some old VODs on YouTube from earlier, at the end of last year and the start of this year, and I realised that Meryl, Elvira, Hank and Woody and Oliver weren't even made until like early last year, and I was like, whoa, that's pretty crazy that they're like that recent. That long ago, sorry, because it almost feels like they've been in our lives for such a long time, those characters. But there was only created in 2020. But 2020's dragged, hasn't it, when you think of it? But then again, it hasn't, because the last time I saw Rex was like the 2nd of January 2020. And although that feels like a long time ago, it kind of doesn't as well. Time's a weird thing, isn't it? And sometimes I don't work during this time of year, but with COVID and how that side of things can be, I decided to get what I can. Awesome. And this year for New Year's, I'm doing pizza for my feet. Pizza? Yummy. I'm planning on ordering something yummy. Don't want to make food. Thank goodness 2020 will soon be over. Yes. It's been a mad year. Pizza sounds good though. My Christmas was low-key and relaxing. No avatars walking around. Oh my goodness, thanks so much for reminding me, Oracle. That is me and my memory failing me. Blame the fact that I've not streamed for a week. We'll get you all up. I usually put that get stream avatars loaded up on the starting soon screen. But I guess I got distracted. Everything up until the first week of November went at a smart snail's pace, and after that it sped up fast. Yeah. It's definitely been a mixture of snail's pace and fast. And the avatars are on vacation, they get a holiday too. They did. I'm sure they had a great holiday. I'm sure that Sharu had a good holiday, didn't they? There we go. So they're up now. Thank goodness. Thank you, Oracle, for... I mean, I'd have been pretty sad if we went all stream without having the avatars up, so I'm glad that it got pointed out. Okay, there we go. All sorted. Okay, guys, I'm so excited for today's stream. I'm hyping it up, and you're all going to be like, is that all we're going to do? Is that it? I think it's fun, but I'm a nerd. But I'm just reminding you first of all what we did the other streams, and Draw.io has decided it wants me to log in with a silly butt face, but we're not actually going to be working on the dialogue today. We are going to still be working on it, don't get me wrong, because this is like an ongoing thing. And I'm currently in the process of like drafting some notes on what's going to happen in scene 5. I know that I was thinking of some good last dying words for the fruits. I was making a rough list last night of some interesting dying words ideas. So we'll probably have a stream on that maybe this week too. But we did like sort of plan what's going to happen in that scene. So we have an outline. It's probably it's going to be much easier having this outline rather than going in blank. But there was something else in particular I wanted to do today. But we will revisit the scene 5, get it finished up, as well as make sure everything's all good and consistent with everything in the other scenes before the end of the year. That's going to be 2020's goal now. We've got a few more streams left of 2020, and I like to finish it by saying that we've got the dialogue sorted, and then we can like start 2021 with smoothing over the scenes and probably work on some battle stuff too, but I want to get the scene work done before we even begin that. I want to make sure all the scene work's implemented and working smooth, because there's a lot of expansions. A lot of the original scenes have been expanded on, so there's going to be extra stuff, lots of different bits to add, which will be fun. We'll do test plays and it'll be exciting to see how they look. And once we've got some like content with the scenes, I can start doing screenshot Saturdays again, which will be fun. It's been a while. Although I'm not using social media as much lately, I'm going for the whole quality over quantity next year for social media. I'm going to try and once, if there's something really cool to tweet, like, you know, the launch of our Steam page, for example, which is on the cards for early next year as well. Super excited for that. As well as screenshot Saturdays, I'll be on there then. But I'm not going to waste my time on there all the while, because there's stuff to do. Plenty of things to do this year. My poor Ashari, he looks sad that you called him back to work, Oracle. And now he has to walk back and forth all through Rose's stream. Yeah, he's got sore feet, I bet. I wonder what sort of shoes Ashari wears. And the Oracle. I wonder what they wear, because you can't exactly see, can you, with that outfit covering him up. He'd have a big frowny face if he could. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing these expressions and getting him in the scenes eventually, because he will be making an appearance in episode 1, though he isn't like joining the party in episode 1. He will make a little appearance, so that'll be fun. And hi Dave, how are you doing? I'm an old man, gotta get my exercise. And haven't been on social media much lately. Twitter has been chock full of madness and negativity. So I feel the exact same way, Oracle. That's why I've not been on. My activity has just gone right down lately on there. I've kind of lost interest, if I'm honest. I kind of sit there and think, what am I doing scrolling through this when I could be doing something better instead? And how are you doing though, Deva? How was your holidays? I hope you had a fun one. Good to see you. And I'm doing well. I've got lots of chocolate, lots of food, lots of yummy things to keep me full for the next couple of months probably. So I'm happy. I've tailored my Twitter to be mostly artists. That's good. I feel like nowadays we need to be very fussy with what we follow and what we have in our feeds, because, you know, it can affect our mood. Played a bit of Final Fantasy 12 last night, remembered how much I liked it. Oh, did you? Yeah, Final Fantasy 12's a good one. I feel like it's an underrated one. It's not one that gets overhyped like some of them, but it definitely has a sort of charm to it. I think the battle mechanics are pretty fun as well, and the unique, the gambit system. And played some Final Fantasy 14 over the holidays. Yeah, I've kind of said once I finish Cyberpunk, I'm gonna get back into 14, I think. It's too fun and I miss it a lot. I do. So what have you been doing in Final Fantasy 14, Van? Have you been crafting? And don't see much politics stuff unless it's ads, yeah. It was quiet, just quiet at home. That's good. Well, it's lovely to catch up with you all, and I'm glad to be back. I was definitely ready, because it was hard to get into streams with Christmas so close. at one point. That's why I didn't stream on the 23rd, because my sister was literally about to come over and she was staying in my room, so it kind of made it a bit difficult. But I'm glad to be back now. And I crafted most of the stuff for my medium home. My cat character is tired of crafting. Yeah. Have you got every single job to max level then on Final Fantasy 14? David recently finished Shadowbringers as well. So yes, we're going to be finishing Scene 5, the painting, this week. We'll go back to that, but there was something else I wanted to do today instead, which I'm going to finally talk to you about in a sec. This is our outline. I'm going to cross that off for now. We'll go back to looking at the outline once we actively start working on that scene. We'll cross it off for now so I don't have too many tabs open. Alright, so here we are. I've just made a doc, but the most exciting bit is this Google sheet here. So what we're going to do today is make a mega list of NPC sentences related to their desires, fears, beliefs, what they're dissatisfied about in their life, and what their agendas are. I see these as the 5 key questions. Mainly the desire, fear and belief, one of the main 3. But these 2 are sort of a bonus question that can also make an NPC a little bit more interesting too, and link to these. So it can be random what we come up with. We don't have to specifically think for Carol, Fiona, Nigel, Rose, or any episode 1 characters and NPCs in particular here. We can just literally list anything, and afterwards, when we feel we've got a chunky amount, we can start deciding which ones are a good fit for the current NPCs. Because I know this to me, especially the desires and fear part, are literally so key to helping make the writer see what potential conflicts there can be in the story, because conflict is what drives the story forward. And I think since we've been really redrafting Main Quest 1 and 2 and improving the dialogue, I've been really pushing myself more to surface, dig deeper in regards to the conflict and the desires and fears and beliefs of the characters, particularly Carol. But I think it's going to be good to think of that for Nigel and Fiona and all the other full NPCs as well eventually. And because every NPC is going to have their own, and it's going to create all these little sub-conflicts that kind of link to the main conflict of what's going on as well. But I don't want us to be too to kind of limit ourselves when thinking of these ideas. Of course, it's fine to think of episode 1 specific ones, but we can think bigger as well if we want. Hi Rex, how you doing? 41 months, oh my goodness, thank you so much for the ridiculous, crazy, huge number of, I don't think I've ever seen that amount yet as a sub. It's definitely one of the highest, maybe the highest. I love you too. Thank you so much for the support. I'll have some hype in chat for that massive sub. You've been doing Titanium Extreme? Oh my goodness, I wouldn't even touch that because I'm terrible at Savage stuff. Is that Savage though, or is it just, I can't even remember what's what. I know there's these trials that you can do to unlock the ponies and the doggos and the birds and all those special mounts, and I like doing those, but I don't like doing the Savage roads. They're a bit too hard. Extreme, not Savage, yeah. It's for a dragon. Yeah, I like doing those because I like collecting all the mounts. All your crafters are 80, 4 of your other fighting jobs are 80, 2 of your gatherers are at 80. Don't like fishing, so that one I don't bother with, and my friend is a fisher. Yeah, I'd be the same. I've got fishing at level 0. Because, yeah, you know how I feel about fishing. Okay, so I already have got started on this. I've got a few ideas in mind for this list and what we're going to add in it. And this is going to be something that's going to stay with us forever, by the way. This NPC mega list is going to be something we'll always refer to and add to. We might eventually literally have hundreds of these. That's what I'm planning, to have a list of absolutely hundreds. And it's going to be kind of what will help us for now and the future kind of form NPCs. Because, we did get a questionnaire list for NPCs up, a very rough one with tons of questions. We even have questions on the website for when you can submit your own NPC if you get 1,000 raindrops. We kind of have a fear and flaw section on that, but that's very, very basic compared to what we're going to be doing here. This is what's going to help us create really cool characters. Right now, I don't even know what Fiona or Nigel's fears and desires are, or beliefs, etc. We kind of have realised what Carol's are, but there could be others that we haven't dug out yet. So if we think of any today, we can add to the list. And I think Google Sheets is awesome, I have to say. I know that you use it, Fan, because I looked. Well, I've seen yours. But I've got into doing it too. And I think for things like this, it's perfect, making lists. Because I was looking at D&D game masters and people who make, roll tables, and D&D game masters do all that stuff, don't they? I was looking on Reddit and seeing how they did it, and they use Google Sheets for things like that too. So here we go. We'll start. I've got beliefs as the first one because I think really they can help make us come up with the desires, so it's probably cool to start with that one. So the thing with the belief one is it's usually a false belief, by the way. It's usually a lie, because the character can't be perfect. There has to be a character arc there. So usually what the character does believe is a misconception about them or the world or both. And it's kind of what makes them change over time. It's usually... yeah, basically what I've said is how it all is, really. So here we go. We'll start with this, but we'll probably flip between all of them, really. I'll put question mark there at the moment for all of them. You need all your crafters maxed out, because if you don't, you're constantly spending lots of gil to buy things. Yeah, for sure. That's what I did all the time. I just bought everything off the market board. And then I was skint. Okay, so I'm not gonna get all structured about this or put everything in any particular order. I'm gonna just write what comes into my head, and if anyone in chat today thinks of any cool ones as well, I'll just randomly add them as well. Okay, so that is a very, very silly belief, right? But that's the point. What these NPCs believe is a flawed belief that they're gonna realise over time is false. But we don't know which NPC is gonna have these beliefs. We'll just assign them to NPCs that we feel it's appropriate to have. For example, Nigel or Fiona or Carol might not have those beliefs, but there could be a future NPC that might be the perfect one for. Because this all begun because I was starting Fiona and Nigel's profiles, and I was like, what is their desires? What's their... I didn't even know. So, doing this will help kind of give ideas. Any plans for the evening aside from dinner and staying warm as usual? What am I doing today? Probably eating my chocolate all up. But to be honest, I'm probably getting back into the not normal things now because my sister's gone home now, so we won't be doing any more fun things or playing any board games now. But I'll probably play a bit of Cyberpunk, but do a little bit of work as well. That's probably what I'm going to do. So I haven't played Cyberpunk in like a week because of all the Christmas stuff. And I don't care that it's buggy. I don't care. I just like the story and hope it's enjoyable then. Talk again Wednesday, hopefully. Yeah, and you too. I hope you have fun. Did you finish that visual novel? If not, I hope you have fun playing it. And you have a blast. I'm Not Worthy of Love. That's a good one. People will always lie to you. Money is more valuable than people. God, that is an awful one. Just let you know, guys, I don't believe in these beliefs. Okay. And we can go between them. I might at some point just get like writer's block here. I get brain melt. I'm not able to think of any more, and then I'll just switch to another. Also, this might help you guys with your character. Like if anyone here is doing a D&D character or something, you never know. You can nick some of them if you want. It's inspiring. I think it's inspiring having lists like this. Okay. What other false beliefs are? What's everyone in chat's false belief? You don't have to tell me because it's a very personal thing. It's a very how dare I ask that? I don't even know what my own false belief is. Usually we don't know what our false belief is. So all the characters that believe these things, it's not like they know this. It's all in the subconscious, really. But it's definitely something that I believe very strongly. Okay. I think when we've got a list of like at least a few dozen, I think we might start thinking, yeah, that's a good one for Nigel, or that's a good one for Fiona. And it might actually flesh them out a bit more as well, and we might realise things about them that we didn't before, because although they're pretty cool characters and have potential to be cool characters, I think they're pretty basic at the moment, in all honesty. I think there's a lot to uncover with those two. Because Fiona's more than just a spunky little kid. And Nigel's more than a nervous posh boy. There's more to them than what we know so far that we're going to uncover today. And I think it's a good time to do it now as well, because it might make us realise more dialogue that needs to be inserted into the scenes where we first meet them. And starting Watch Dogs 2. Oh, fun. Fun. That's one I thought of because, there's going to be a few kids in Lightfall. We've already kind of wrote a flashback. In fact, Fiona probably could think that. Don't know if I should put kids there, maybe children. Yeah, that could be appropriate for Fiona. Some will totally not be appropriate for some of the Lightfall NPCs, but some would be. And I think it's about connecting the things that link theme-wise with what we're going for. And we can, potentially get some sub-conflicts as well from this too. Okay. But yeah, usually the misbelief thing, usually very much links to, stories having a message behind them, I find. People are only friends with me because they want something. Pardon me. We nearly got 10. There's our me. And yeah, if you think of your favourite character in general from fiction, or your favourite movie or whatever, favourite story, you might realise that your character has a sort of false belief as well. I'm trying to do that trick. I'm trying to think of random characters and random people I might know in real life as well, to come up with some of these lies and beliefs. I believe food can solve any problem. Is that what you actually believe, Rex? Or is it what? I do think it's a good one. Someone who's very gluttonous. Is gluttonous a word? Gluttonous. The 7 deadly sins? Gluttony's one, isn't it? And that's to do with greed and food, I think. Oh, I got the right one. And I think actually that's a good idea. Thinking of the 7 deadly sins can help come up with some beliefs as well. So yeah, food can solve any problem. That'd be an interesting NPC that believes that. But you'll find as we do this, as we form the list, some of these beliefs will link into the desires and fears that we come up with as well, and the dissatisfied with the life. For example, the food can solve any problem one that Rex has just given. It could be, I'm dissatisfied because there's not enough food in this village. You know what I mean? It's it all links. So, and then the fear would be, I fear having all the food stolen from me and dying of starvation. It's a very silly one. I'm just thinking very quick here, and I desire very yummy food. So it all very much should link and could link. Not all of them, but you can definitely make links and connections between them. And then you've got an NPC with desires, fears, and beliefs, and you're forming an interesting character there, and their character arc would be that they find out that life is much more than just food. Simple but interesting. What are you trying to write up? Oh, beliefs for, yeah. So it's it's what I think are the 5 key. The first and most major questions when it comes to creating an NPC and developing an NPC. And we've sometimes done this in the past, but very, very surface level. We haven't dug deep. And I was the other day thinking, oh, what Fiona's desires. I was trying to fill in a profile for both her and Nigel, and I found myself stumped and I didn't know what to properly answer for them. Not effectively anyway. So that ended with me coming up with an idea to form a mega list, which I want hundreds over time when we get to form a mega list of all these things, and we can find links and connections and appropriate ones for different NPCs, some that we've not even considered and realised about certain characters. We might be like, oh yeah, that one's perfect for that character and I didn't even know it, and it can like make them even better. It can make a good character even more interesting, because conflict is so important, and I feel like the desire and conflict thing and the clash of them is what kind of drives a character arc forward as well. So it's going to create more interesting characters. And I believe animals are more important than humans. That's a good one as well. Thank you, Rex. If you come up with anything, even if it's silly, feel free. I mean, the ones Rex came up with are awesome. But even if you've got silly ones, feel free to suggest them, because honestly, the list is never ending. Like, there's no limit to how many we can have in this sheet. Is there a search function as well on this? If there's a search function, that would be even cooler. I mean, I suppose we could do Control and F. And then if we want something specific, say if we end up with absolutely thousands on our list over time, and we have an idea in our head for an NPC, but we're like, oh yeah, we've got far too many to look through, then we can just do a search function and look for keywords and stuff. But this is going to be something I feel that's going to be a tool for us forever. You know, it's going to be something that we always add to and we always keep, and it can be a technique that we use to form the NPC, especially because I found I was struggling with Fiona and Nigel. I was like I was thinking of like a desire and a fear of them, and I was like, but is it good enough? And I kind of am a bit of a perfectionist, so I want to dig deeper. And then I realised actually some of these that one could work for Fiona as well, and I didn't even think of that one before, that children can look after themselves. And then maybe the lie of that belief, well, the truth of that belief is that actually children can't look after themselves, and everybody needs a friend there for them. And being independent's good, but sometimes you need to rely on others in certain situations. That could be the lesson there, because I'm all for like moral, social and emotional sort of conflicts and dilemmas. And I think you know, some stories are very plot driven in terms of conflict, but I'm more into the social and emotional conflicts rather than the physical conflicts, because I think that just helps us get more connected to the characters and the story even better. It makes us care. So, you know, I think that's better. Van's come up with loads already. How are we going to get all these in? Okay, thank you, Van. Fruit are more important than anyone else. That's good. It's good, you know, like Rex came up with the animals are more important than humans, and then you can come up with others that are similar to that, but the different, because that one there is basically inspired by that one but with a slight tweak on it, so that's good as well. And because this episode 1 is called Roots and Rumours, it's the themes of episode 1 are very much roots, like your family roots and your community roots, and being comfortable with what's familiar to you and wary of things that are unfamiliar to you. And so we'll probably end up selecting, like highlighting and noting down the ones that stick out to us more, that are more related to episode 1 themes that we have, so that everything's very much consistent with all the sub stories and subplots. But then some of them could be really useful for future episodes, you know, like we might think, oh, that's perfect for episode 3's theme when the time comes, etc. Nature is stronger than man. Awesome. The gods are just stories. My goodness, Van's got a very quick mind, I have to say. You've come up with loads already. But that's awesome, that's exciting. This is why I'm a geek for this and was excited about today's stream, because I wonder how many we can come up with. I love to come up with at least 30 for every single one. That'd be a good goal for today, to get 30 for every single one. Oh, why have I put that one the same? The gods don't listen to everyone, but over time we'll have thousands. If I make a typo or miss one out, feel free to say though, chat. Your life is only worth the money you've made. Awesome. That's a really good one as well. Like, I've got this one here, money is more valuable than people, and I feel like it's kind of similar, but it's different, because that's more about self-worth, isn't it? And this one is more about just being a complete asshole. Okay, so typo. Your life is only worth the money you make. Sometimes I make typos when doing this because I'm like typing things out so fast. We cannot be friends with other races. We must defend our way of life. Awesome. So yes, anything that you guys in chat today, anyone lurking or coming in, or anyone who's here hanging out, I'm going to just write down anything that's suggested, as long as it's not like offensive, of course. But if it's something that's workable and got potential, I'll be adding it to our list here. Because, you know, this is all very juicy stuff. We'll create some really juicy sub-conflicts and major conflicts from all this. You spend too much time around other races, they will poison your mind. Awesome. So a lot of the ones you're coming up with are very episode 1 specific, which is brilliant. Plus points there, but don't worry if you come up with ones that aren't necessarily episode 1 specific either. Of course, it's probably ideal to think of episode 1, because that's the story stuff that we're focusing on now in particular, so it's going to have more relevance at this point in time. But you know, this is going to be a mega list that's going to be with us for the entire saga. You know, it doesn't matter if there's something totally irrelevant to the setting or the themes either, because it could come in handy for the future. It'd be nice to like go into the episode 2 and onwards with some idea rather than a complete blank page, right? Okay, so if you spend too much time around, I've already got to that bit. Your family is your only real safe place. Oh, hang on one sec. So I'm going to just word this so it is in first person, only because we got I believe, just for consistency, but no worries. I believe animals, yeah, I believe nature is stronger than man. I believe my life is only worth the money I've made. That's it. I believe we cannot be friends yet. That's fine. And I believe if I spend too much time around other races, they will poison my mind. Okay. And like we said, a lot of these beliefs are in the subconscious, so it's not like the character's fully aware of this. It's not like they're, you know, it's just something that's ingrained within them that they've been conditioned to believe over their lifetime. And my family is my only real safe place. I think Carol is that's probably very Carol with what we've been doing so far. But there could be others. There could like be secondary things that people believe as well. Okay, so each person must do their part to support the town. I think that's very good for Lakefall. I can imagine, you know, that being a sort of attitude that someone could believe in Lakefall for sure. If you do not contribute, you should be cast out. Oh, wow. Yeah, that one actually can be worded in third person. I think that's works with the I believe. I believe if you do not contribute, you should be cast out. It's kind of like a dictator leader that would have that sort of belief. Watch your neighbour, keep an eye on them. I believe you should watch your neighbour. I'm only rewording it so it kind of fits with, so it goes with I believe. But if I've done it wrong, feel free to say if I've misunderstood at all. Don't be afraid to point it out and tell me how I should word it instead. My way or the highway. I believe my way or the highway. That works. The government is always right. Government should be a capital G, right? Okay. The government is hiding something, beware. Wow, I'm so impressed. That is like, your brain must be just full of imagination. I have to, like, I thought I was coming up with some good ones, and then you've just like absolutely done it. The government is hiding something. Beware. This is fun. If I please people, they will like me and help me. That's Violet, yeah. Violet believer. Yeah, and if you like, that works. If you want to think of a specific character we've already got in the game, even one who's, say, not in episode 1, that's on our Lore Bible, for example, feel free to throw in their belief as well, if there's one that's there that needs to be uncovered. Heroes and no, I believe humour heals the heart. That's a really good one, Rex. Humour heals the heart. That's wholesome. I like that wholesome one. You know, like in a town that's got a ton of tragedies, having someone that believes that is like really sweet. Okay, and heroes are not always heroic. Wow, we're only on part 1 of 5 as well. We've got tons of desires, fears and all that to do as well. But we can always link them. I feel like if we review what the beliefs are, it'll be easier to think of desires and fears as well. Okay, so war is the only way to solve problems between races. Pardon me. Awesome. So that's kind of similar to fighting makes everything right, isn't it? So there's going to be some like connections with some beliefs, which is fine. I feel like we should just put in, even if it's a reword of something similar, I think we should still add it because we should, just because we should. Okay, so I don't know how in Google Sheets you actually get the numbers to increment automatically, if that makes sense. So I'm having to do it manually actually. It doesn't take too long to do. Okay. Oh wow, guys, you so good. You're coming up. There's such a massive list, and I'm so behind. But keep them coming. You know, it's better than having none. I'll get them all down. There might be a few typos, but we'll get there. But But you know, if I ever do accidentally miss any, I do look through the VOD anyway after stream, so don't panic if I do accidentally miss any, because I will be looking through the VOD and making sure I haven't missed any. So we got up to war is the only way to solve problems between races. Things are as good now as they can possibly be. That's a good one as well. Why? Oh, there we go. So we might need to do this because it does so we can have the font format be the same and not go to a weird font. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm saying all wrong. Things are as good now as they possibly can be. That's a good one as well. Like someone who actually thinks that their life is fine, but actually it could be much better. Some people get used to things, don't they? Even though it's really not good at all. Some people are okay living in a bad country or a bad government and they don't realise. Okay, so war is never the answer, but always an option. Trying to change the world will only hurt the ones that I love. That's a good one as well. And folks, like anyone here, if you were thinking specifically about a certain character, when you come up with these, for example, if you're thinking of Asharu or Dava or Violet or anybody at all, feel free to point that out because then I can note it down for that character as well, so that we make sure that we know what character it belongs to if there's one that we have in mind. Okay, war is never the answer. People should communicate with each other. Those three that are there, the war-related ones, could probably get together actually. So what I'm going to do, how are we going to organise that? Just move these ones here and put the war ones there. Just so we keep the similar themed ones together. Okay. Staying in one place all the time is boring. Awesome. You guys are so creative. That's a good one too. Always speak your mind or else nothing changes. You know, I thought that we were going to just get 30 of these. And they're good opposites, aren't they? And sometimes, you know what's interesting? When opposing characters meet each other that have different beliefs, you know, that's an interesting one too. They can challenge each other and grow as characters. But I think a good thing about beliefs is that they're very relatable, you know. It's a good way to make characters relatable to us as the people playing the game, because the more we can relate to them, the more we're going to like them and care about them, because even us in the real world are going to have some of these false beliefs ourselves. Okay, so I believe toes are evil worms that are trying to take over the body. Yes, and I will be adding wacky ones because you never know. There's an opportunity for humour there as well, and that's always fun too. So, like I've said, with Raindrop Chronicles, we're gonna the player isn't going to know what emotion they're going to feel next, because all the stories and sub-stories in the game are going to be a mixture of funny, light-hearted, dark, creepy, heartwarming, and disturbing, and horrible. You know, it's going to be a mixture of everything. That it's our responsibility to be fruitful and multiply. Breeding is a dangerous thing. Responsibility, no typos there. The gods are always watching. I do what I want when I want. You got a problem with that? And I like that, that you're speaking in a voice, because then we're sort of getting a character voice from that as well. That person's got a real sassy attitude. I do what I want when I want. You got a problem with that. The riches are in their niches. No one is going to follow you if you are just in it for the money. People should think for themselves, not follow leaders. The truth can only be found by those who look deep within their hearts. Is there a way that I can format? I don't know. I'll do that after when we get a bit more time. I'll just put it in brackets for now. Okay. Oh wow, I need to put the numbers here. Wow, we're close to 50. That is incredible. I haven't even had a chance to put mine in since this, which is great. Okay, so kings and queens rule by divine providence, and to disobey them is to disobey the gods. Okay, so I think I'm doing good and I'm not giving many typos. If you truly believe in the sun, it will always shine upon you. Interesting one that's a Shira's belief, because as we mentioned before, we've already introduced the gods of the world and subtly mentioned the sun and moon and the stars as being kind of the gods of the world. So that's very interesting too. I'm looking forward to having more chats about that and fleshing it out more as well. Okay, so the forest is mine alone. Father Maple. I have magic powers, but I can only use them when no one is watching. That's interesting too. We know there's magic in the world because a spell brought to life the Everbloom Forest. That's going to be interesting because at this point in the story, no one knows, do they, that it was a spell that did this, but it's going to be interesting to discover that fact and what it makes people think about magic as well. Every life has an ending. It is what you do while you live it that's important. The Saint tree. So that's the Lakefall tree, isn't it? Put that to people now. When you walk among the graves, remember those who came before. They were you once alive and free. Do better than us. Do better than me. Awesome. Okay. So we've caught up somewhat. We might move on to the next. The desires and fears next. We'll see if we can squeeze any more out before we do. Because I would like to do all these, fill all these out before the stream ends today. I think that would be pretty badass. Okay. Trying to think if there's any more I can squeeze out as well that we haven't added yet. It was my fault they died. That's one. Kind of episode 1 themed as well, because we know there's graves by the Lakefall tree. And there was a tragedy there. So maybe someone brains himself. The world is a scary place because of what happened in the past. Have we got any about people who think they can do things on their own? I mean, I might, when I get a bit of time, organise things so everything is listed that has a similar theme, so that it's not too completely separate from each other. Because then we're going to forget what ones have been added and which ones haven't. So that's quite a simple one. I don't know. Someone might have already wrote one that's similar to that. Just a different rewording of it, but if so, we can just put them together. That's why I want to kind of organise it so we don't get confused as we get more and more. I do that all day, but work is kind of hindering. Or you've got so many considering your work. I'm impressed. Cookies are the best, Oliver. Yeah, if you think of any that, the container characters have, or even the fruits, or any that you personally think would be appropriate for them, feel free to drop that. It's great if you think from characters' perspectives that are already in the game, because then we can think about those characters closer and make sure that they're consistent. Okay, I believe everyone is good inside, but it is hard for them to show it on the outside. That's cute. We know that Oliver's good inside because he's got cookies inside him. So, of course, he's good inside. Quite literally. If I teach, the children will grow. Might have to, yeah, I'm gonna have to put that there so we've got plenty. Every day should be my birthday, Blueberry. Yes. Maybe, yeah. In fact, that's true. Because Blueberry wears his hat every day, probably. I bet he does. I bet you if you keep them alive and you see them again later on in the game, he'll still be wearing his hat even though it's a different day. And when you are an adult, you cannot show weakness, Alvira. Typical, stiff upper lip attitude, isn't it? That very boomer, very well, not even the boomers. The age of our grandparents is very much like that as well. Okay, so 3 more. Winning will earn me respect. That's one that I thought of just. It's got no link to any characters that are already in it though. But I thought I'd add it anyway, because some people foolishly do believe, well, it's understandable people think such a thing will earn them respect, but it's not always true. Not at all. Yeah, we'll move this one lower down so we can put the Woody one first, so that we can keep all the barrel characters together. I am not sure I can ever find love. Yeah, Woody, I mean, people think he's just a jokester and flirts around, but really deep down he really just probably wants to find love. But people just don't take him seriously. The only girl for me is the one with the biggest pink bra. It's true. Because, if we have that as our lucky charm, Axel's going to fall in love with us. Anyone looking at that? Be like, what's that? Hi Matt, how you doing? And hi Andy Cake. I'm on using cellular data for now. Hi. Oh, so are you travelling back home after your Christmas shenanigans, Matt? Have I guessed right? Hope you had a good Christmas, you two. For anyone who's just coming in, we are making a mega list. We're making a mega list of NPC beliefs, desires, fears, and these are 2 bonus questions here. But it's going to just help us really in the long run for getting really deep with our characters, because these are the key questions most of all that create that internal conflict that makes us care so much about characters and makes them relatable as well. And we've got loads. Chat have given so many so far. Dava and Van and Rex and me. It's a little bit disorganised at the moment, but it's all there. We've got up to 62 so far, and it's only the beliefs that we've got in right now. So we're going to move on to desires in a bit, but we're going to try and just get as many in as possible before we move on, because with the beliefs, all to sum it up, all it really is, the beliefs is the lie that the character believes. It's like that misconception that they believe about either themselves or the world, and it's kind of really their character arc. It really is what forms their character arc, and that journey where they discover that their belief is actually false, and yeah, it's going to tear them apart when they realise that that belief is actually false, because without that, you've just got a boring cardboard box of a character. This is that internal journey that really is going to make the character. So really, really what we want with all the beliefs is them to be false in some way, even though, it makes sense to believe them as true. Like, you can easily believe that some of these are true, but they're not. They're false beliefs. Okay, so he's handsome, but how should I tell him without making him think I'm looking to commit? Can't remember name, but innkeeper. Nigel, yes. That's good, because Fiona and Nigel were the two characters in particular I was trying to write these for, because I was like, we need to write their profiles. But I was like drawing a blank, but because we've decided Nigel's going to be a romance option now, you know, that's very fitting, especially is the gay romance option, and he probably doesn't want to look too clingy. So that's very good. There was one I thought could be good for Fiona as well that was earlier on. This one potentially could be good for Fiona. But you know, there could be some that multiple ones for these characters. Don't have to specifically just have one. So Fiona would, yeah, and that one's like the opposite of the Fiona one. In fact, Nigel might think that because he's like Fiona's opposite. Another one is people will only pay attention to you if you are people will only pay attention to you if you are rich, attractive, or successful. That could be one. Trying to think as I put these if any current characters could fit these. But if not, it could work for a future NPC. The only way to earn love is through servitude. Have I even spelled that right? I don't think I have. Servitude. Right. You know, that's kind of a common one, I think. That people think that's the way to even respect, earn love or respect. Or approval. We might have had one similar earlier on, but that's why we want to. Okay, so and one that could be an opposite of that is something like this. It's similar, quite linked, but not quite. Someone who believes that anyone who does generous things or things for others are actually false and, not really genuine. That's kind of what I'm getting at with that one. People are just canvases waiting for my knife and scissors. So that would be, a hairdresser, I'm assuming. My life is devoted to controlling the raindrops. Interesting one, very on theme. And feel free, folks, anyone hanging out, coming in, to drop in any at all. Whether it's linked to Raindrop Chronicles episode 1, feel free to, or any of the characters. But even if it isn't, even if it's something really random, we've already got a random one from Rex here, toes are evil worms that are trying to take over the body. Something like that could be comic relief to insert somewhere. So I'm totally for the random ones as well. Okay. Yeah, don't limit your creativity is basically it. I've lived in these woods all my life. I won't be afraid of them now. Okay. Or a scientist, yeah. Alright, so, we got any more? We'll spend a few minutes still on this one, but then we'll move on to the desires. Ooh. Helping others will always lead to betrayal. So the thing I wanted to mention, especially because I just wrote that one, is a lot of these beliefs should, you know, in a way they have a backstory. People who believe these things there's a reason why they believe in them. There's obviously been an event in their history, their past, that has made them come to this conclusion as well. So that's something to consider too. Because otherwise, why would they even believe this in the first place, right? Someone who believes they're a victim, basically. I have to pretend to be someone I am not, because people will never love me for who I am. Maybe copy paper cut, right? Well, that could definitely link in with the whole the pretending to be Rose story with her, but not necessarily. But something to think about. I think it's an interesting one in general. A lot of people could think that. It doesn't even mean be a full-on imposter, or it could be you just pretending to have a certain personality trait because you don't think people love you for who you are. If you didn't have that personality trait, for example, it could just be something simple like that. Yeah, I'm thinking of very general ones. I'm trying to be relatable, but general with the ones I'm thinking up. Thanks for the... Oh, you got an emoji, Makaro. That's awesome. Cool. From Rex's sub earlier on. Huzzah! I want emojis. I was going to put one about money, but I think someone might have already put it. About someone's worth being measured by the amount of money they have. I think we already had something like that. So I might not need to put that. 72, not bad though, folks. So do they all fit with the I believe beginning? I believe fight makes everything right. I believe I'm not worthy of love. I believe people will always lie to you. I believe money is more valuable than people. I believe everyone should only look out for themselves. I believe some sins are too bad to be forgiven. I believe the weak must give in to the strong. I believe children can look after themselves. I believe people are only friends with me because they want something. I believe I can't do things on my own. I believe food can solve any problem. I believe animals are more important than humans. I believe fruits are more important than anyone else. I believe nature is stronger than man. I believe gods are just stories. I believe the gods don't listen to anyone. I believe my life is only worth the money I've made. I believe we cannot be friends with other races, we must defend our way of life. I believe if I spend too much time around other races, they will poison my mind. I believe my family is the only real safe space. There's some really cool ones here, guys. Well done. I believe each person must do their part to support the town. I believe if you do not contribute, you should be cast out. And if anyone here is coming up with any as I'm reading through, feel free to say, because it could sort of give more ideas, you know, and I'll write them down if so. I believe you should watch your neighbour and keep an eye on them. I believe my way or the highway. I believe the government is always right. I believe the government is hiding something, be aware. And it's good because we've got opposing beliefs here too, so it's really cool to have two NPCs potentially that believe these and then end up meeting each other later on, and they challenge each other. I believe if I please people, they will like me and help me. I believe humour heals the heart. I believe heroes are not always heroic. I believe war is the only way to solve problems between races. I believe war is never the answer but always an option. I believe war is never the answer. People should communicate with each other. And these are good ones because I can see in Lakefall people having different NPCs having these beliefs, different ones in both the human and reptile factions. Things are as good, I believe things are as good now as they possibly can be. I believe trying to change the world will only hurt the ones that I love. I believe staying in one place all the time is boring. I believe if you speak your mind, you will be stomped back in line. I believe always speak your mind. Well, we should just add to that in front. I believe that you should always speak your mind or nothing else changes. I believe toes are evil worms that are trying to take over the body. Yeah, if you think of any really wacky, funny ones, folks, feel free to suggest them too. I think we need more of those ones. I believe it's our responsibility to be fruitful and multiply. I believe the gods are always watching. I believe I do what I want when I want. I believe I should do what I want when I want. You got a problem with that. I believe the riches are in the niches. I believe no one is going to follow you if you are just in it for the money. I believe people should think for themselves, not follow leaders. I believe the truth can only be found by those who look deep within their hearts. I believe kings and queens rule by divine providence, and to disobey them is to disobey the gods. I believe if you truly believe in the sun, it will always shine upon you. I believe the forest is mine alone. I believe I have magic powers, but I can only use them when no one is watching. I believe every life has an ending. It is what you do while you live it that's important. I believe when you walk among the graves, remember those who came before. As I said, you should remember those who came before. They were you once, alive and free. Do better than us, do better than me. I believe it was my fault they died. I believe the world is a scary place because of what happened in the past. I believe I can survive on my own. I don't need anyone or anything else. I believe cookies are the best. I believe everyone is good inside, but that it is hard for them to show it on the outside. I believe if I teach, the children will grow. I believe every day should be my birthday. I believe when you are an adult, you cannot show weakness. I believe I am not sure I can ever find love. I believe I may never find love, maybe. I believe the only girl for me is the one with the biggest pink bra. I believe winning will earn me respect. I believe he's handsome, but how should I tell him without making him think I'm looking to commit? I believe people will, or we could reword that so it fits with the false belief. More maybe say something like, I believe he's handsome, but will get scared, but will be scared off by me. Something like that, because that would be a false belief, because not necessarily will they get scared off by him, right? Will be scared, but he's handsome, but that I will scare him off when he finds out how much I like him. I believe people only pay attention to you if you're rich, attractive or successful. We're nearly there, folks. There's about 10 more, and don't worry, I'm going to add the new ones suggested. I just wanted to read through them all to see if like we had any more pop through our heads from just reading through the ones we've got. I believe the only way to earn love is through servitude. I believe all acts of generosity are false. I believe people are just canvases waiting for my knife and scissors. I believe my life is devoted to controlling the raindrops. I believe I've lived in these woods all my life. I won't be afraid of them now. We could say I believe the forest isn't scary. I've lived in these woods all my life, or I've lived here all my life. I won't be afraid of them now. There we go. I believe helping others, and that's a false belief for sure, because they're very brave clearly, but they might find that they might get hurt. I believe helping others will always lead to betrayal. I believe I'm a victim in this world and there's nothing I can do about it. I believe I have to pretend to be someone I'm not because people would never love me for who I am, and I believe I'm not worthy of the things people do for me. Cool, so they all go with the I believe title, which is what I wanted to make sure of. And I think most of them here are false beliefs, potentially. Some of them might not be, and if not, we can just dig deeper to find the false belief or reword it slightly. Hi Artifacts, how you doing? I apologise for rambling my head off and only just getting to chat. I hope you've been well. We're making a big mega list at the moment, so we can truly flesh out our NPCs. That's what we're doing. It's fun, and chat have had awesome ideas. It's of utmost importance, and thank you Clockwork Olive for that follow, by the way. Welcome to stream. It's of utmost importance for adults to be trustworthy to children. That's a good one. I believe it's of utmost importance for adults to be trustworthy to children. So that's a good contrast with one of the earlier beliefs we had here, which was children can look after themselves, that Fiona believes. The future is too unpredictable to make plans. There's going to be some really interesting range of characters from this. I mean, at the moment we got 70 odd, but the goal is to build on this over time so that we can have this big massive database of ideas that will really help us effectively like shape NPCs. And the best NPCs will have beliefs, desires and fears and dissatisfactions and agendas that link with each other, of course. We don't want them to be random, we want them to link. So okay, so I have to reach the highest goal of whatever I seem to be good at. $75. GG everyone. We'll be moving on to fears to desires very shortly, folks. I'm really excited. I want to dip into all of them before we end the stream today. I believe spicy foods make people too that's a funny one. Based on the beliefs of that guy who invented the graham crackers. Yeah, if there's any like inspirations or references, or you think of any like people from history or fictional characters that really give you good ones for this, feel free to throw them in as well, because it's not copyright, is it? It's just taking inspiration, and that can create a really interesting bunch of characters. I believe flatulence is leaving the body. That's a funny one, Rex. I count on you for the humorous ones, Rex. You're bringing humour to our game. The pressure's on. I believe, yeah, there we go. So, I mean, although we're going to be moving on to desires and all the others, feel free to still suggest beliefs. You know, like if we're not leaving these now. If you come up with some later in time, then feel free to suggest them again more, because there could be some really good ones that you still think of. Oh, there's other charts needed. Yes, we're going all the way, because I've been doing a lot of research and studying on what really makes a truly good story, and it's all about characters and conflict. Deep down, they drive the story, and it's these 5 things that really do help drive the story most of all, because without these, the conflict is pretty flat, but this kind of pushes the story forward. So once we've made these lists and we assign these to the appropriate NPCs, we're gonna just have all sorts of help. You know, it's all just going to be there for us to drive the story forward without having writer's block as much. So because sometimes all these things are buried very deep within the surface when it comes to characters, and we don't even realise it ourselves until we really look at these questions. Okay, so we're on to desires now. And in case you didn't, you might know, folks, but the desire and fear and the beliefs are very connected. Because really, in most stories, they're driven by desire. Like the protagonist of most stories in fiction, there is a want or a need that drives the story forward, right? That's kind of what most stories are. Like, Raindrop Chronicles is Carol's desire to find her family. That's what's driving the story forward in Raindrop Chronicles, at least right now. And of course, there's always subplots. So this is just the main conflict that's driving the story forward so far. But there's probably other NPCs will have their little sub conflicts and desires that are related to the main conflict as well. So yes, if you think of anything, I can't even think of anything off the top of my head, like the Lord of the Rings, for example, they're all trying to find the ring. So, you know, there's always some kind of desire, whether it's a plot physical one or an internal one. I personally like the internal ones best, because it's even more meaningful then. If we understand the reason for why they want this so bad. Okay, so have we got any more belief ones coming? It looks like we might be. I believe that I shall defeat my enemy because he's wrong. He has always been wrong. I was a fool to listen to him. Got something in my eye. Thank you for the follow, by the way. At war. W-A-W-W-A-W-A. Defeat my enemy because he is wrong. He has always been wrong. I was a fool to listen to him. There we go. Sounds like someone got massively betrayed there. On that one, I like it. Cool, that's a good one, Matt, as well. I like that, because we haven't even fleshed out Finch, the herbalist, at all, have we? She's literally all we know about her is that she's a herbalist, but that's it. And there's a couple of things on her bio, but we need to dig way deeper with that character. So, you know, if you ever think of anything related to any of the characters on the Lore Bible, or any of the, you know, class-related ones or profession-related ones, feel free to say to, and I can put the profession in brackets. Even if that character isn't in the game right now, like I says, this is something we can refer to a lot when making characters. Okay. I believe if I deceive them, they will do what I need them to do. I like these because they're all such false beliefs, aren't they? Which is what we want, really. We want these beliefs to have a nasty consequence in the story, and that's what really forms the character arc, when they realise that they were wrong this whole time, and the emotional consequences of that. I believe that if I deceive, yeah, got that one. I believe that life is a fool's, yeah. I mean, even characters that are extremely knowledgeable and powerful there will still be false beliefs that they have as well, somewhere along the line, that take them by surprise and make them have to potentially face reality, because that could be interesting. If someone like who you think, oh my god, like Ashari for example, he's just popped into my head, someone who is like very knowledgeable and worldly, even if he faces a surprise along the way from one of his beliefs. Desire to build trust between family members. Hank, awesome. Let's get to them desires then now, folks. Yeah, we can move on to desires, but if you do think of beliefs, still feel free to say them in chat, folks. I'll just put belief in brackets so I know that it's a belief in case I accidentally add it to desires. Okay, so there we go. So I believe blood is necessary. I believe that is a belief because it sounds like it from the wording anyway. Okay, so desires. I've given this like a more of a reddy colour because desire comes from the heart, so it's more red in colour. Okay, so Met has given a good one. I desire build trust between my family members. Okay, so I desire to build trust between my family members. Cool. And yeah, if there's a particular character that you have in mind, feel free to say, and I'll put them in brackets because then we won't forget, and it'll be handy. Desire some peace and quiet. That's a good one, Rex. I'm going to put the symbols exactly as you've put them. I like it. Could always fit for a Lightfall NPC, you know, because Lightfall on the surface looks like a very quaint, peaceful village, but there's real chaos coming, so they're not getting the peace and quiet that they want, that's for sure. Okay, so we'll think of some, they don't have to be linked to the beliefs that we've talked about necessarily, just think of anything that fits as a desire. Feel free to suggest it, and we can always make the connections once we start building the NPCs. Like for example, we might think, okay, let's do Fiona now, and we'll be like, yeah, that one for Fiona for belief, and then we'll move on design. Then we'll link it manually ourselves, you know, but don't feel like we have to rigidly make every belief match with every desire, because that could just be something we do ourselves. I mean, it's good, it's bonus points if you do make some beliefs and desires link together, but it's not necessary, because you'll be surprised by how we can link some of these together, even if we don't purposely do it. And you know, when you suggested the food one, Rex, I came up with the desire, fear and dissatisfaction and agenda in 5 seconds just from that one belief anyway. Okay, so money is one. Lots of money. That's just one I've come up with in my head right now. Freedom. Oh yeah, I was going to say peace, but Rex already has given that one, so that's good. And Van is coming up with some as well, so change the world in my image. Change the world is a good desire for sure. Money, freedom, change the world, peace. They're like really key ones that I can think of here. I desire balance. That's similar to peace, but a little bit different maybe. Because with balance, I'm thinking more from the perspective of somebody that wants to balance their priorities and time, you know, someone who's struggling to do that. But I guess it's about perspective, because balance could mean a lot of things. I desire to feel fulfilled. And I desire to save the people and the natural order of the world. I feel like desire is like the straightforward and obvious one. Like really, when it comes to desire, it's just what does the character want the most? You know, what drives them? What drives their character arc forward? What are they chasing? What are they pursuing? Because without the desire, there's nothing. They're just sitting there doing nothing, you know. So desire is key. And we kind of, I mean, the character submission form on the website kind of asks this anyway. I think the question is, what is your desire, or what is your goal? I think I worded it as goal actually on the form. But what we're doing here is just so we can really just dig even deeper to what was filled in for that character's goal. Like I know for Rose, the goal was to belong somewhere, for example, but it's got to go so much further than just wanting to belong somewhere. So really, all these 5 questions are going to go dig deeper into that simple base desire for Rose. Okay, so where were we? To bring peace to those I watch over. So I put Lakefall Tree / Saint because some of us know him as Saint, but some of us know him as Lakefall Tree, so that way that I'm clear, because we haven't really introduced him properly or made a profile for him yet. So Lakefall Tree is the generic name for him for a lot of the community right now. But Saint's great. I think that's the perfect name for him. Okay, so to find my family alive and well. Carol. Hi Binary, how you doing? It took me forever to say hi because I'm rambling on as always. How you doing, Binary? How was your holiday? Hope you had a good one. What did you get up to? To destroy the current order. So should we say to destroy the natural order? Well, is it the current order, the natural order? Because things are already sort of coming to life. So would it be, what is the current order now, I'm thinking? So if we have it as to destroy the natural order, that's the opposite to save the people in the natural order of the world, right? So that's a good opposition. I was going to put current, but then I thought things are already starting to get a bit unnatural anyway. Since things have recently started coming to life. Okay, so a warm fire, a quiet life. I desire a quiet life. That's a nice one. I think if we can fit some relatable ones in, that's really great because people love relatable characters. I think what we could do with is a mix of very, very story and lore related ones with what we sort of having for sure. So a mix of story related, lore specific ones, some that are very more generic, that are relatable, and then some that are funny, and some that are very thought provoking, and just a lot of different ones. I think that's great. Okay, to feed my family and have a life outside of this cave. A lizard. Yeah, that's a good one. Thinking of the lizard desires, because we haven't really thought too deeply into the lore in the caves yet. We don't really know what the way of life is in that cave and the sort of ecosystem they've built for themselves just yet. But it's interesting to think about and to potentially think of some desires, because that could help sort of give us some ideas for where we could take that. Okay, so have my first kiss. I'd like to have my first kiss. That's a cute one. That's definitely a cute one. You've got to have the love stories. I wonder if Nigel Buckington's had his first kiss yet. Hope you had a good one. Yeah, it was quite a good one, Binary. Got lots of... This is my sack of chocolate, everybody. I can't even pick it up. It's massive. As you could see, it was bigger than me. It blocked all the light out. The recipe of every desire the recipe of every famous traditional pastry. That's a really cool specific one. You know, there's something really endearing about the specific ones. When you get really specific. I mean, I love the general desires as well, but then the specific ones are cute as well. Okay, so there we go. Hang on, I've wrote that all wrong, haven't I? I desire the recipe. There we go. I'll put 2 recipe instead. To bring an end to the forest suffering. Oops. That suggestion makes Father Maple definitely have a potential redeeming quality if he actually cares about the forest suffering. He's not full on chaotic evil. He's got some good intentions there then. Okay. All good here, cheers. Ate lots of food, completed Cyberpunk, currently playing through Frambo. Awesome. Yeah, without spoilers, how was your Cyberpunk experience, Binary? I've still got a lot to play because I haven't been able to play it the last week because of all the Christmas celebrations distracting me. To bring an end to the man's abuse of fruits. By murdering all of them. That's awesome. Okay. I haven't missed any other, folks. The rise of fruits as an independent nation. Plum or one of the other fruits. I desire the rise of fruits as an independent nation. Plum or one of the other fruits. That's an interesting thing to mention. It's good to think of their individual ones as well. I mean, it's not necessary for us to dig that deep where each of the 5 fruits has their own separate desires. I mean, we could. I mean, they are pretty key characters and antagonists, so it's not like it'd be a waste of time. And they've all got very individual personalities and characteristics, so we totally could. But definitely thinking of that, it definitely won't be blueberry because he's a kid. Tomato's a kid. It would definitely be one of the older fruits that would have that desire. It could even be all the old. It could be lemon, plum, and apple that have that belief. But just like they share that belief of just wanting the fruits to live a good life. And being dependent from the horrible humans. Okay, and where are we? Well, the current order seems like it'd be politician focused thing, while natural order is more everyday social relations. Yeah, it's about perspective, I guess. I was thinking like natural order was the normal way of life before the barrels and containers and sentient objects were brought to life. That was sort of the perspective I was thinking of, and the natural order's life as it is now, I guess, as it would be in the real world. But yeah, there's many perspectives of how you could see that for sure, and that's so much chocolate isn't it? It's a lot. Yeah, it's a good job I don't put on any weight. I've got a fast metabolism. You get a Christmas sack. You're all shocked. Or invent a new style of music new to that world. Anyway, that's a good desire. It's good to think of like from the perspective of professions and like classes in regards to combat classes as well, and non-combat class professions, because everybody's got a lifestyle, they've lived their work and they've got desires within their careers for sure. Is there any others I can think of? I'm going to think of some very generic ones now. So these are very generic, like, ones, and we might come up with specific ones from it, but it's good to have a few generic ones mixed in so we can think of the different desires people have, because some people are love motivated, some are money motivated, some are career motivated, some are more for motivated in terms of improving their self-esteem. So there's lots of different desire types. Someone who's fed up of the simple life, maybe. Like a whole turkey of chocolate. Show the sack again. It's massive. See, it fills up the whole blooming screen. Cyberpunk was freaking great. Enjoyed it a lot. It is. It's very I really like the themes that in that cyberpunk world that are being brought up, and I think the characters are very, very, very interesting and rich and real, which I'm not surprised at because it's CDPR. Okay, to see what kind of danger I can get in and out of. That's very like Danger Boy desire. It sort of almost makes me think of Axel. So I'm going to put Axel in brackets, but there could be other characters that share a similar desire. I desire to be a hero one day. Oh yeah, to be a hero. Should we say one day at the end? I desire to find my path in life without others holding me back. I desire to make imitation raindrops. That's chub. I desire power. Oh yeah, did we not add power to that? If not, I'm shocked we didn't, did we? I don't know why I put I desire in front. That's already on the thing. Power's one of the obvious ones, and I'm surprised I didn't put it. So, now, to control the government and king. Traitorio. Okay, so, give more. I desire to find a way to drink blood without harming others. Violet, I mean. I desire to control the slave market. I desire to die every woman at least once. Probably canon, right? He's the one who's a womanizer in the game so far that we have a profile for. If there's any that are obviously very similar to character we've got in the game, I'm probably going to put their name in brackets if it fits. I desire to discover where raindrops come from. To uncover the secrets of this world. Cool, we're doing well. And is there any else I can think of? To see how many people I can motivate to change their lives. A motivational speaker sort of, or someone who just wants to help others. To discover how far my life can go and where I end up. Someone who's like an adventurer, I suppose. To visit the world and meet people of all kinds. There's a lot of different kinds in this world, living objects and races. So I think that'd be quite an interesting character. Someone who's got a motivation to meet every different type of being and wants to fill themselves in knowledge and learn about people and cultures. Okay. I desire to heal the forest and find a way for people to understand it. Awesome. I desire a life of dutiful service to higher causes. I desire an end. Interesting. Wow, we're already on in the 40s on desires. We might move on to fears soon, but we'll stick here just a bit longer. And And if I can, I might stream a bit longer today. I'm not going to promise it because I don't know when dinner's going to be. But if I can get away with it, I will stream a bit longer just so we can make sure we've dipped into all these. Because ideally for Wednesday's stream, I want us to already kind of be ready to assign these to each of the characters we've got so far in Main Quest 1 and 2, so we can make sure all the dialogue, we haven't missed anything essential in regards to the characters. Because usually I did some sort of research into this sort of thing, and usually it's Act 1, our first meeting of a particular character, when we find out these things subtly. It doesn't have to be spelled out, but there's always kind of hints of this misbelief, these desires and fears from the beginning with the characters. Like, to introduce them as soon as possible is a good thing to do, because then we want to like this character. We want to not get bored. Okay. And yeah, it doesn't have to be like forced down people's throats or anything. It can just be subtly revealed, of course, or hinted at. That's sort of what we tried to do with Carol, with the fact that she's finding a family. We hinted it early on that she wants something. Like when she saw the hero come out of her with the weapon on their back, she was like, oh, I could do with one of those, and then maybe I could. And then it got cut off. We didn't find out, but we sort of, from very early on in the first few dialogue boxes of scene 1, sort of gave a clue that Carol's a lady on a mission. Okay, so I desire the hero to do what I need him to do. That's a great one for Carol. Need them to do. Should we stick with the hero term, or should we say you or someone? That's fine if we want to have hero, because that's kind of what we call them really, although I've started calling them you more often, but that wording works fine. I desire the hero to protect me. Yeah, we'll put hero in capitals though. It makes it just a bit more apparent that we're talking about you as the main character and the player. If we say you, it could be a bit vague and confusing. So that's a cool one as well. We'll get Vans in first as it's related to the hero. Awesome. Someone who wants to manipulate the hero. Yeah, if anyone thinks of any hero motivating desires, they're cool ones to add as well. In fact, they actually, now I think of it, Van, these ones are probably more appropriate for my agenda, because that's actually specific desires that are targeted towards the hero and what that NPC wants from you specifically as the hero. Like, every NPC has an agenda, right? So they actually might be more fitting for that. So I'll keep them there for now. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste those, because they're all really good ones, but they're definitely fitting for the agenda. And then we can add those as the first ones for agenda potentially. So if there's any more, feel free to say, because I can add them, because I've got a notepad file up and then they can be popped into the agenda section. Okay, so the flourishing of a culture. Devoted to peace, healing and mending. That's a nice desire. I like that character already. And got that one in. Awesome. A way to end times of famine and drought. To write, I've just thought of one, to write books that last for centuries. Right, you know, there's going to be lots of books scattered about with lore in the game. I'm a big fan of hidden details around the world waiting to be explored that you can like read about potentially optionally. Hi Mia, how you doing? It's so good to see you. For Mia and anyone just popping in, let's give an update to you folks. What I'm doing is I'm building a mega list of NPC beliefs, desires, fears, reasons they're dissatisfied with life, and agendas. So we've got about 70 beliefs now, and these beliefs are usually false beliefs, by the way. They're usually something screwed up that they believe that actually isn't true about the world or themselves, and it kind of forms the character arc. And we're on desires now, so it's going to be like this mega list that we're going to have that's going to help guide us to building better NPCs and characters that can like help start that conflict with a character and make them more exciting. Tetsu Rose, thank you so much for that sub. I appreciate it. It's 3 years, 60. I was going to say 66 months. No, we're not quite there yet. My goodness, just imagine. But it is 36 months. Thank you so much, Tetsu. Let's have some hype in chat for that. How have you been? Hope you're well and you had a good holiday, Tetsu. I want to be remembered. That's a good desire, to be remembered. So we'll get that in too. So feel free to suggest any. We are on the desires now, but don't be afraid to suggest fears or beliefs or any others as well. Because any that I don't get to put down, if I do miss any, I'm going to be looking through the VOD after stream at some point anyway. I'm making a list of everything. So it'll all get put in eventually. Okay, so where were we? So, more and better sandwiches than ever before. To eat more and better sandwiches than ever before. That's a really funny one, and it kind of links with the belief Rex put in here when he said food can solve any problem. It's actually someone's belief in, well, it could be someone's belief in the game, and they could definitely think that sandwiches need to be eaten, and they're gonna, you know, it's gonna be interesting. Okay, so I desire to be worshipped. That's a good one. And yeah, it's good to think of like fictional characters that already exist in some way for these as well, because that can help inspire. I desire to remain unknown. We're setting up lists, belief, desires, fears, and agendas. Characters can have met, sums it up perfectly. Better than now I ramble on about it anyway. But yes, it's they're like the 5 key. Well, I feel like belief, desires, and fears are definitely the 3 key questions. But these are like 2 bonus questions, I guess, that can also be handy. Fame, to be famous, yes. To be famous. Trying to think if there's a way. We can keep it generic. We don't have to necessarily flesh it out completely, but there's another one that I thought of from that suggestion, Tetsu, actually. Oh yeah, to be charismatic, and handsome. Because, you know, some people are motivated by very superficial things for sure, and really a character arc's about them realising that this desire they have is you know, not important in the grand scheme of things. They're going to go on a journey where they actually realise that their beliefs are completely screwed up. It's gonna tear them apart. And where are we? To bring prosperity to my people. There we go. To leave my mark on the world, that's one. I just thought up, so I might just randomly put my own in between your ideas, chat. I did the books one, didn't I? Yeah, to write books that last for centuries. To find company. Well, should I say good company? So someone like who had a fear of loneliness, for example, or is dissatisfied because they're lonely, would probably desire the good company, you know. So our job, once we've finally listed all these things, will be connecting these for our NPCs. But we'll probably focus on the NPCs that are currently in the game, like Fiona and Nigel and Violet and Carol, etc. But these lists will be handy for forever, basically, and we'll always refer to them when we introduce new characters to the game. Okay, so where were we? To make a friend, that's a good one. So it's similar to the find good company, and I'm not against putting very similar worded ones down. I see it as just get down as many as possible, even if some are closely worded. Okay, so, and it does let us use, it lets us use the word feature. So for example, if like we realise we've got a character in the game that's very friend driven, we could look for specific keywords to find some desires, because eventually we're probably going to have so many in this list that we'll need to use the word search feature. I desire to help my wife and her goals, Mr. Raydu's character. Right, okay, so Raydu. Yeah, so if any, as I have said earlier on, that if there's an NPC that's already in the game or has a lore Bible character profile and something's popped into your head that's perfect for that character in regards to a desire or whatever, feel free to just put their name in brackets and I'll put them there, because there'll always be one specific to the characters we've already got. To get out of this town and to do something, that's a good one too. So there are some similar ones we said here, which was, but it was worded differently, of course, something like to discover how far my life can go and where I can end up, to visit the world and meet people of all kinds, and then we've got to so, you know, I feel like multiple NPCs can have these goals. It all everyone will word their desire differently based on their personality, because everyone's got a different tone of voice. So someone like that would be someone who's very you know, spunky, got a lot of drive. Okay, so I desire to have an adventure, and someone who had the other wording, which was to meet people of all kinds. They're probably more of a knowledgeable person, perhaps. Okay. Desire to find more dragons. And that would definitely be Tristan. That's for sure. I figure the sandwich factory would at least have one major devotee. Yeah. The sandwich factory is awesome because although it's not even in anywhere close to where we are in the world at the moment, we've already sort of done a rough world map. And everybody's excited about it because it's a sandwich factory and we like sandwiches. And to make sure everyone in town has warm clothes, that's a nice wholesome one. Especially when we get to the cold areas, because we do have a world map. A rough world map. Can't remember what streams we did that world map in now, but once I've titled our YouTube VODs properly, because I'm going through every single VOD of all time one by one, and I'm giving them all a specific title on YouTube, so it's going to be so much easier to find those past streams. So make sure you're following me on YouTube, folks. I'm going to give you the in case you're not, because you'll probably have noticed I'm starting to give specific titles to each stream, and it'll be a good way to us to keep track, and eventually we'll find those world map streams again. I think they were a couple of months ago though. Okay, so wow, number 60 we're on. You're all amazing. You're coming up with so many. I must say I didn't expect to have so many today. It's amazing. I mean, we've not touched on the fears or any of these yet, but, you know, I'm just glad we've got loads of desires and beliefs as well. Okay, so where were we? We got to the warm clothes one. I desire to find my lost friend. I might eventually organise this so similar themes and characters are together, but I'm not too fussed quite yet. Just get them down first. Van's on that law Bible. I see you looking through the profiles. To be the greatest raindrop expert the world has ever seen. Yeah, definitely an ambitious character. And I love the law specific desires as well, so that's a really cool one. So I'm kind of encouraging law specific ones and general ones as well, that are potentially relatable ones. Okay, so we'll put research. Actually, yes, that's a good idea. So even if we, there's not a character yet, even just putting their profession in brackets it'll be what I do. So I'll put researcher for that one. To remove the mold from my basement walls, lol. Yeah, even if some are really obscure or wacky or out there, feel free to suggest them too. Rex said some really random funny ones earlier on in the stream, and I just wrote them down anyway because, an opportunity for some comic relief. If relevant, some of these really wacky ones could be awesome. So don't be afraid if you've got a really silly idea either for some of these. So where were we? To remove the mold from my basement walls, and something like that. It's so it's specific and random, but it's so relatable as well, because that's something people have to face in real life too. It's mundane and very normal, but relatable normal stuff even in a fantasy world can be good, because relatable characters are always good. So yeah, even anything really normal like that, feel free to suggest too. To trace my ancestry. as far as possible. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting character for sure. So, you know, some of these ideas could even like make us think of new NPCs that we haven't thought of yet as well. You know, we've got some that are very episode 1 themed, that fit with the whole roots and rumours themes that we've sort of started talking about story-wise, but I'm encouraging all sorts of themes for this, because some of these could be great for future episodes too. To take care of the orphanage. Yeah, and funnily enough, we already have a character, I think it's Tristan, isn't it, who was an orphan. So there is links there that can come in with things like that. I desire to one day not care so much about the others' opinions, but it's very hard to do. Options, I mean, you're putting the wrong word. Between works, I mean, that was my character idea, but I've been so busy. Oh, which one was yours, Mia? The orphanage one? Because if so, just let me know, and I'm going to put Mia Bite in brackets, because that's kind of what we're doing. We sort of putting characters or jobs or professions in brackets so that we remember who it's for, so we don't steal it for another NPC we create. The researcher. Okay, so I'm going to put researcher / Mia Bite in then, because I know you said you've been busy, but you never know, you could get those 1,000 raindrops eventually. Because as you know, this project, it's very drawn out, and it's going to take a long time, and episode 2 onwards isn't even going to see the light of day until 2023 or something. So, you know, there's no rush with these things. You'll get there eventually. I believe in you. Okay, so to find true love for once in my life. Okay, thank you, Val, for that follow, by the way. Welcome to the stream. I've not missed any, have I, folks? If I have missed any that you've suggested, feel free to copy and paste so I see it, but don't worry, because I'll be looking through the VOD anyway. Is there any more I can think of myself before we move on to fears? I've got one: to go back in time to when things were much simpler. That's kind of episode 1 themed, because as we know in episode 1, things are coming to life that shouldn't be. The barrels, the fruits, the trees, etc. So for an old timer sort of person, they'd very much not like that, and they'd want things to go back to when they were more simple. So that could be a cool one. So if anyone else have any similar sort of ideas that bounce off that, feel free to suggest as well. That's a bit vague. It could be someone who died, or someone who's gone missing, or someone who no longer lives with them anymore. I've not spelled that right. I think that's right now. So someone suggested earlier piece, someone said some effing peace and quiet. I think that was Rex's suggestion, which is funny. So that's like external peace, but also there's like internal peace, like, you know, someone who actually wants to be at peace with themselves and happy with themselves. And I think that's something a lot of people can relate to as well. Okay, so I think someone might have put something similar to that, like a knowledge or seeking knowledge one, but sometimes I like to just add it just in case, even if it's a slight reword. Richard, thank you so much for the sub, 16 months. Oh my god, it's a streak as well. Thank you so much for that support, Richard. How have you been? Hope you had a good holiday, and I hope you did as well, Mia. I can't remember if I said happy holidays to you when you came in. Got to be so preoccupied with this list. Where are we? And anyone else as well that's popped in recently, happy holidays. I hope you had a good one. To keep track of the fights between politicians. That's an interesting one. I'm curious why they'd want to keep track of the fights and what their agenda is, which is what that is here. So I think agenda is kind of a little bit of a extension on what the desire is, but it's more specifically, you know, what you want from somebody or someone in particular, such as the hero. Rather than just it being just an overall desire. So these sort of things like the agendas are pretty cool for coming up with like quest ideas as well, I think, because it's like what you want from the hero or someone else, what it is you're after. So that could help. But it's always, I think it's a lot, it should obviously be related to because our job is going to be to make sure these, when we make NPCs, that whatever beliefs, desires, fears, and they have, they're linked and they're not like disconnected. They've got to make sense to have with each other. Okay, where? Oh my gosh, we haven't continued the count. We've got over 70 desires, everyone. Are you proud? I'm proud of this community for coming up with all these. This is insane. But for you know, we only just started this stream, so, and I'm slow. I'm slow at typing, so that's pretty good. You know what I'm like, I ramble on, so. Okay, so to stand up for myself for a change and find self-esteem, but it's so hard. Awesome. And I like that you put in like the character's sort of thoughts in there as well. To make others' lives better, even at the expense of my own well-being. What a sweetheart of a character, right? Oops. But someone like that would definitely experience a rocky adventure for sure. There's definitely some truths they're gonna realise along the way. I think that's what it's all about, what I'm trying to get at here with the characters. I want to make sure each of them have a sort of journey and realisations that they come to. Nobody's going to end the story the same as they did at the start, because that's not a character. Even the minor NPCs, you know, will experience a mini arc themselves. Being good, quiet end of the year, yes. It has been this year for a lot of people, I think, given the circumstances. But I'm glad you're good. And to help visitors enjoy the peace of the farmland and forest. figure the desire on keeping track of fights could be from someone whose agenda is to sell news and gossip. That's a really fun agenda. I'm excited to get into the agendas. To be honest, folks, I think we're probably going to likely carry on this next stream. I did want to move on to finalising the dialogue and scenes of main quest 1 and 2 for good and get that 5th scene written up, but we're not in a rush, you know. I'd rather get this list up to scratch. I think it's going to pay off for us in the long run to get this done, and I think it's fun as well. I think we're having fun, so because I doubt we're going to get all of these listed, these last 3 by the end of the stream. We'll try, but you know, we might carry on this next stream on Wednesday because it's been fun and we can really flesh out the fears, the dissatisfactions and the agendas without like rushing our heads off. Is that a very consistent stride one? I want to make sure I actually don't miss it out, because if so, it actually works. I don't know whether it was part of a question you were answering that I asked, or whether it actually is one. But it seems to work for me, so I'm putting it in. I think that the fights between politicians should connect with the diplomat character. Yeah, for sure, actually. That makes sense as well. And maybe they wouldn't be the one that would want to sell news and gossip, but that's where NPCs could link with each other, you know. Maybe some people share a similar desire, but have different agendas, and that's where they sort of, their stories can tie in together as well, because they share the same goal, but they've got a different reason for doing it, if that makes sense. Okay, so is there any more I can think of? There's definitely got to be more. Okay, so someone who cares deeply for living beings, no matter what they are. I don't know if we've had anything similar to that. Be interesting to look through and see if we have. And same with the beliefs, like what would connect to that one too. For example, some sins are too bad to be forgiven could, like multiple ones could. Nature is stronger than man, they could believe that too. Or even that animals are more important than humans. So you know what I mean? Someone who's got a certain desire, you could connect several beliefs that are relevant from that desire, and then it's up to us to decide which beliefs are better, at best, for that particular character. And then like we have like a complete direction on that character, then we know who we're writing and we understand them fully, which is really puts us in a good position, because there's nothing worse than having characters and sort of knowing them but not understanding them fully, and then not knowing what to write in the story when we are writing a scene and we've got a blank head and we're like, well, what is it this character actually wants? So I feel like these questions just give us so much where to take the character. Where were we? So to find time to enjoy things in life. So someone who values and desires time So it's not just about them enjoying all the good things. That's someone who specifically is struggling to find time, and I think a lot of us in the real world can relate to that too. So I like finding some relatable ones in there. I mean, I do like the very wacky or the very fantastical and interesting ones as well. But relatable is cool. Okay, so I desire for those who know me to understand me. Violet. Did we get any down for Violet? I know we had a few beliefs that could work for Violet. Oh, to find a way to drink blood without harming others. That definitely works as a desire. But yeah, for sure as well, for those who know me to understand me, considering she doesn't speak, that is something she would definitely desire. She wishes to be understood. We nearly got 100 of these. I desire to torment all who have opposed my goals and dreams. Good to throw some villain ones in there, that's for sure. Wow, to burn the forest down. Someone's gonna burn Everbloom Forest. Imagine. See, this is gonna make life so much easier for us when it comes to making our Lakefall NPCs and the reptile NPCs in the cave. Because think about it. We've only got Fiona and Nigel populating Lakefall right now as actual characters. We've got a sort of question mark NPC that we know the hero bumps into at the start of the game, who potentially can smash up Carol. But we don't have a clue who that character is. They're just a blank person at the moment. So we got to populate it with so many different personalities, with different beliefs, desires and fears and agendas. And you know, looking through this list, when the time comes, we're going to pick the interesting ones that fit with the theme and that particular setting, and it's going to be fun. So definitely puts us in a better position than literally being blank and having to just think on the spot. And this will help us in the future too, because it's going to be massive. It's going to have all the list of everything. To just have a moment to myself. So that definitely fits with the Rex one, which was to have some peace and quiet. But you know, they're different as well. Like, that's someone who values just peace and quiet, maybe without noise. But this one is more specifically being allowed to have that time alone. So it is still different. To drown children in the river. Oh my goodness. I wonder why they'd want to do that. They'd have to have a really messed up belief, wouldn't they? This is where it gets interesting, because someone with the desire to drown children in the river would probably believe something like, well, they could believe all sorts. Like, I'm thinking of children's specific beliefs here. They could believe that the world's too populated now. That's just the first one that comes in my head. They could believe that they are the spawn of the devil or something, based on, you know, where they came from. They might think there's no way they can be looked after properly, so I'm going to just put them out their misery now, and it'll do them, you know, it'll be better in the long run. They could believe the forest is dangerous, so it's a more like humane way of putting them out of misery before things get bad in the forest. There could be so many different beliefs, misbeliefs from just that one desire, you know. And the thrill, someone who desires the thrill of murder. Yeah, maybe. I mean, the good thing about we can go wild. We can come up with our own as well, our own reasons for why they'd want to do that. But it's interesting to think of like other ideas from real life too. But it's, yeah, whatever's going to be more exciting and interesting, that's for sure. I desire hearing my enemies scream in pain. It's a very good villain once. I desire to colour pretty faces on more barrels. I'll say draw only because I know colours spelt differently in Britain and the US. So, okay, so draw pretty faces on more barrels. Or should we word it as to put makeup on more barrels? How are we going to word that? Because I know who you're thinking of there, Van. Little girl in Lakefall. Because what happens is just a bit of quick summary of the backstory of that one. They're not actually drawing, because their faces are real. They're not sketched or drawn faces. They are real people. But she's the one that why Meryl's wearing makeup and lipstick and mascara, because Meryl's very glamorous for a barrel. So there's a bit of backstory behind how that happened, and it's quite wholesome. Maybe. And I desire to clear the forest of all lizards by any means. I mean, we could even go deeper in that one. Like, we could... It doesn't even have to be just barrels. It could even be generic as I want to make all my toys pretty or something like that. And it just so happened Meryl was one of her toys. I want lots of pretty toys. To have lots of pretty toys. So usually it starts off as something that's more specific to an event that's happened, but then we can like turn it into something general. And then it becomes yeah. Okay, so to clear the of all lizards by any means. Reptiles. So yeah, we'll call them what they are, or because we haven't thought of a specific name for the race. I mean, I think we've just kind of called them reptile. That's been the one we stuck with, but we could name them so they're a more interesting name as well, like reptilian or something just a bit more exotic sounding potentially, but that could be something for the future that we decide. Okay, to be with my friends and follow the pack to whatever end. I don't know why I did all that. Yeah, just put a full stop there because then it'll allow me to keep the text formatting. But we don't have the same text over and over then. To make everyone... Oh yes, that's interesting. Make everyone fall in love with the fairies. Would it be probably a fairy themselves that would want to do that? A do-over. What sort of do-over? Okay. Simplicity. Good memories. Not to. The absence of fear. No fear. Everblue Forest is a scary place at the moment. It would make sense for someone to maybe want that. I can smell dinner. I'm trying to make sure, because I had a few ideas and I want to make sure I get them all down. But if you come up with any, folks, feel free to, because we're probably concluding the desired parts very shortly. But like I said, this is something ongoing. You know, we'll probably continuously update this whenever there's an opportunity to. I desire nothing. Imagine. Could someone really desire nothing? I suppose they'd have the attitude of everything is just temporary and one day we'll all be in our graves. How morbid. Okay. Harmony. I want to teach others to be better. People are for every harvest festival to be a grand celebration. The mayor could think that, right? The mayor of Lakefall. We've sort of, although we don't have a mayor character in mind yet, it has been mentioned that one exists. When we wrote up Carol's flashback story, there was a mayor that got mentioned. So that could, for everyone to visit a library at least once a month. Someone who a dictator that forces everyone into the library. Read. Okay. To feel a sense of completion. Oh yeah, to live forever. To know myself. Some people don't know themselves, right? That could be one. Did we have that? I'm sure we had a Respected by Others one, but it just popped into my head and I'm not sure, so I'll just get it down just in case. It feels like a very obvious one now. And I believe someone already said this one, but I'm just kind of expanding on it in another way. Someone who gets off on the buzz. I feel like, you know, it's just expansion of one that we had a bit earlier. Say endless thrills, and someone who literally wants endless thrills and entertainment and he never stops. We had something similar, like someone who wants to meet all kinds of people and travel the world, but that's specifically someone who wants to listen to their story, people's stories, rather than just meet them, just to see the world. To find mathematical geometric perfection in the universe. To read good books. For words that may give me insight and answers to all my questions. I know we've had a couple of reading and book related ones, but I don't know if we had any that were specific to someone who actually has sort of questions. But yeah, I'm not going to get too caught up in, oh, have we already done that one? I'm going to just write it down anyway, because otherwise we might not write something and it should be. Be a dictator and punish those who don't go by my rules. And I'm pretty sure we've had something like that, but just worded differently. And I desire the truth. Did we have someone that was that Sharu's the truth? I swear we had the truth, but we might not have in that case, because I've just glanced, unless that was a belief somewhere. The truth about everything, the world, life, death and the gods. I don't know if that was one we specifically wrote. I swear we put the truth for something, but it might not be the truth about everything to that extent. Could be one-to-one, that, yeah. And for my family business to be passed down for generations. That's a good one, especially as I think that fits with episode 1. The fact it's a very homely family lot. We've got a couple of businesses already with the inn. We've got the blacksmith and the item shop. To write down that which has so far only been spoken. Awesome, look at us, we've got over 100, everyone. So if anyone has any more before we conclude today, that goes for desires or beliefs. We've got 82 beliefs and we got 100 and something desires here. So I will organise this. I want to make sure I might organise it. I'll see how I feel, because I do think it could be good to do that and get everything into subcategories. Maybe we'll see, so it doesn't get too messy as we get more and more. I've got the ones that Van suggested, the hero related desires that was mentioned. I've got those saved because they'll probably go in the agenda category. It just seemed more fitting for that one. So next stream, it's Wednesday, everybody. We're back to our normal schedule now. That's fun. And although I didn't expect it to go on for 2 streams this, I think we will. We'll stretch this out for Wednesday's stream as well, and that'll be when we focus on the other particular things. The fears, and these ones. Because we spent so much time listing the beliefs and desires that we never got around to doing the others, but that's cool because we got loads listed for this now. And then on Friday we'll revisit the scenes, the dialogue, and we'll make sure it's all good, and we'll be working on concluding it, because Friday is the last day of the year, the 31st, and it'll be nice to sort of conclude the dialogue, wouldn't it, for the last day of the year. But no pressure. If we feel like we need more time to smooth out the dialogue in early Jan, so be it. But for most of January, I'll be looking on getting all that dialogue, that new dialogue and those new expanded scenes fully implemented in RPG Maker, and working very smoothly as well, because I want to make sure all those scenes are perfect, not buggy, not messy, before I even begin to add the battle bits to the game. Because in the old build, it was messy. There was bits of scenes, bits of fights, bits of battles, and it was all very disconnected. So I kind of work on one step at a time now. So once all the scene work's put in and I'm happy and I'm like, yeah, that's all perfect, that'll be the time when we add the battles to the game. And really, if we look at our Trello, it kind of says this is the battle section, and I think really that once we finish the battle stuff, we know we'll be on target to releasing the first playable build then, because it'll just be tidying everything up at that point, making sure all the UI is cool, that we've got the quest markers and the options menu works. The menus themselves won't be like completely all fancy, by the way. They're going to still be at a very basic level for the first playable build, because the early alphas and the mid and late pre-alphas won't be feature heavy. In fact, they probably will lack the majority of features, because we kind of focusing on getting the main story aspects implemented first, and any side quests and features and details will be added on top of that main quest afterwards. But I don't want to make it messy where we've got messy features and bits of main quest. So it's just about getting all that foundation and that base down first, which will basically be the first 3 versions, I say. Version 1 is main quest 1 and 2. Version 2 will probably add main quest 3. And then, eventually we'll have all 6 main quests in, and once they're working and it's great, we'll know then we can add the side quests and the features on top of that. And I like that we're thinking about I like the idea of thinking of side quests afterwards, because then by the time we implement the side quests and write all those little stories, those NPC stories that form the side quests, we'll have such good knowledge about the lore at that point and the themes of episode 1 from what happened in the main quest, that we'll be able to write some really good side quest stories. We'll be experts by that point. And we sort of have already discussed that a bit with the Stumpy side quest, so we already know what kind of side quest we might have, but it's still very early days and they're taking a back seat for the sake of focusing on the main story for the time being. But it's still fun to sort of talk about them if there's ever something ever gets brought up. And to catalogue every plant toxin, let's get it in. Looking forward to thinking up fears and agendas. Me too. It's really cool. And the dissatisfied one's interesting because that's kind of thinking what the NPC is lacking in their life, and it kind of links to the desire. I feel like whatever the desire is, that's kind of, because nobody's going to be getting their desire immediately, right? Because that's the story, that's the character arc, their desire, the journey to follow their desire. So for someone who who wants to live forever, the reason they're dissatisfied could be because they fear they're just living a normal mediocre life and they want to be a superhuman, immortal. So it could just be as simple as that. It's kind of how they begin the story, that they're dissatisfied, their life's mediocre and they want to better themselves. They're ready to follow this want and this need that they have. So so I'm excited too to do that, but I probably will more than likely get this a little bit more organised for next time, because then if we can do it in categories and I'll just insert rows, for example. I'll do things like that then, and then we can keep everything together that's related and everything's not completely separate from each other. I think that might pay off if we organise it like that in the long run, so that we keep everything that's linked together with themes and things. Okay, folks, so I will have to head straight off. I was going to give a raid, but my dinner's literally ready now, so I can't hang about. I'm not surprised because it is 6:20. But next time we'll send the love over to someone next time, if we end stream early enough, that is. Chub Chick, thank you so much for that sub. I appreciate it. 32 months, and oh my goodness, coming in just as I'm brushing off. Oh no. But we'll catch you next time, chat. If you've only just come in and you want to join in on making our awesome list of things, look how exciting this looks for everyone that's coming in. So this is a reminder what we've been doing: a mega list of NPC beliefs, desires, fears, reasons they're dissatisfied with life, and agendas. So we've only done the first 2 so far, so we got really caught up with those 2 today. So we're carrying on with this on Wednesday, everybody. Get that not mug out of my face. When do I stream next? Yes, Wednesday. So it's Monday, Wednesday and Friday, folks. Back to normal schedule. Every other weekday. 3 times a week. So I've got to head off, sadly. But I'll see you on Wednesday, everyone. And we'll have fun doing more of this. Take care, everybody. Have an awesome rest of your Monday. Bye-bye.